Welcome back to Central Valley Talk. We come here every day of the week to meet people who own businesses and people doing things in Fresno. People say there's nothing to do in Fresno. Well, it turns out there's something to do every single day. There's businesses, there's culture, there's all kinds of things going on throughout Fresno. And we have the goal of meeting everybody who's doing something cool in Fresno. Now, if you can't watch us live, go to our YouTube channel, because a lot of our guests end up on our YouTube channel, and it's broke down by category. Either you're on the wedding show, or the real estate show, or the art show, or the author show, or the music show. We have so many shows here, and if you're going to hire somebody to help you out with fixing up your house, or mowing your lawn, or taking pictures at your wedding, you can find them there on our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and type Central Valley Talk, and you'll find our YouTube channel. It's great. It's immense. So yes, Fresno, there's something to do every single night. There's businesses and a lot of cool stuff going on. So we like to invite businesses on and highlight them and say, what do you do? How could you help us? When will we ever need you? My next guest, Naser?
Yeah.
Did I get it?
Perfect.
Naser.
Thank you.
Oh, man. I practiced his name multiple times before we came on, but I didn't try his last name. How do you say that?
Nekumanesh.
But we call you Nas.
That's right.
Or Nas.
Yeah, Nas is perfect.
Nas.
Thanks, Mike.
Nekumanesh. And you have a law firm here in Fresno, downtown Fresno.
Yeah, right in the Patterson building.
Is it tough to stay downtown?
These days it's beautiful.
You're close to the courthouse.
Right next door. I can walk across the street, get there in just a couple minutes.
Do you do a lot of work in the courts, or?
Yeah, I'm in the courts nearly every day.
Good. People think all attorneys go to court all the time, but there's only a few who really go to court a lot. But
yeah,
you're one of those.
I mean, I'd say most of the attorneys, are spending their time at a place like Livingstone's, which happily is opening up back up tonight.
Livingstone's open tonight for the first time. Today is Wednesday, December 5th, I think, 2018. So if you're watching a rerun, they're already open. But they opened up. Somebody did. What do you call arson?
Yeah, a couple years ago, unfortunately.
2 years ago this month, yeah.
It's so great to see them open up. Yeah. But,
so who would need you? Who would call you?
Well, so I'm a litigator. I consider myself a trial attorney. Okay. So folks that are tired of just getting told, resolve this, plead to this, that's when you call a guy like me, because I really shine when I'm in front of a jury. I'm a trial attorney at nature. But my practice these days has been majority criminal defense, and then quite a bit of family law also. You might call me if you're, if you're stuck in a crisis, if you've been contacted by police, if you believe that they're investigating you for any kind of offense. These can be things from, simple drug possessions to drug sales. It could be because you've been arrested for DUI. Some of the people that contact me are folks that are just struggling with family issues. They're going through a divorce. They've got kids involved. Maybe they don't know how to work things out with their significant other. They want to work things out, but they just don't know how to do it. So in those cases, I really like to help them mend those relationships to try to get maybe a custody order that makes sense for the children and for them.
Well, let's talk about family law for a minute. Then I want to go to this criminal defense thing, because that's fascinating
that's
for the
exciting
public, people
stuff.
watching. So family law judges do this over and over and over. They kind of do a formula thing sometimes. And if you think you're going to go and talk your way into something and you've never been to court, that's why they need you, because you're there all the time. That's right. You know the rules and everything.
Well, Mike, I tell a lot of people who come to my office in family law cases, I say, look, the reality is that some of these issues, you could work out on your own, and maybe you should. My approach to family law is really this. At one point or another, these people did love each other. Mm-hmm. Right, so I try to remind them about that, because a lot of times people on the back end of things are so litigious in nature. They just want to, everything is just to get back at them. It's some form of retaliation.
Revenge. They're going to make it up in the court.
Exactly. So they want to get custody just so that they can get a better child support, payment, or they don't want them to have the house just because they're angry. But my approach is first and foremost to try to get people back into a place where they can try to resolve things together. But when there are issues that come up, how do we divide a 401k?
Right. Oh,
How are
I
we
see,
going
I
to
see.
how
I
are we
didn't
going to
think of all
split
those
this
things.
house?
I've not thought of all those.
You've got couches, you've got guitars, you've got jewelry, you've got kids. There's all kinds of little nitty gritties that people don't want to divide. Or, oh, I want the dog, right?
Yeah.
But I want the dog. So these issues become hard for people to handle on their own, and usually it's because they're so emotionally invested.
So let me give you a hypothetical. There's a man and a woman. I'll be the man, and let's say the woman don't want to say opposed to, but say we're splitting up, trying to settle up stuff. There's kids, there's properties, there's guitars, there's cars, there's 401ks, and I find out the woman has an attorney. Should I get one?
It really depends. I mean, usually, if there's a lot of assets involved, maybe a lot of debt involved, it's a good idea to at least talk to an attorney to kind of see what your rights might be, what kind of issues might come up. A lot of people they just don't do this on a daily basis, right?
But you do,
right? Exactly. I'm not a home builder, so I wouldn't know even the issues to look for in looking at an architectural plan, whereas they would. I know when you talk to me about a divorce, I know the kinds of things that are going to be the hang-ups. And so you're going to want to talk to somebody like me, if nothing else, just to kind of get an idea of a roadmap. Okay, how is this going to play out? And what might be a possible way to resolve this?
And where I was leading you into, gentlemen watching out there, if she's got the attorney, he's figuring stuff out. And you've never done this before, but you have.
Oh, and by the way, if she or he gets the attorney, you may end up paying for that attorney anyway.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
You might
too,
want to get an attorney to make sure that you can, stop that from happening. That really depends on your income, disparity of income, things like that. But it's a good idea, even if you have an attorney, though, to try to get an attorney in a family law case that is resolution centered.
Resolutions that are not trying to win for you, but let's settle this up and make it good for everybody.
We started with this saying that I'm a litigator, and I am a litigator at heart. But when it comes to family law, I think that a different approach makes the most sense. Okay. You go into those cases wanting to try to resolve.
If somebody wants to call you and ask a question, first time, what does that cost?
Well, I often take consults for free.
For free.
On a family law case basis, if they want to call me, I'll usually give them 10 to 15 minutes of my time for free.
But it's worth the time for them just to call you for free. Say, should I have an attorney? What should I do? Where should I go?
That's right. And
it's important, I think.
Yeah, and then if they want to come into the office, we work out a deal there for usually about an hour of my time. And from there, we can figure out, do you want to retain my services, and to what scope? Do you want it for the entire divorce? Are there possible restraining orders? A lot of times these cases, they come to me maybe because there's some sort of domestic violence aspect also. And so maybe there's a little bit more of an urgency.
Right. And my point I wanted to get to was, if you're in one of these cases and you're the man or the woman and your spouse has the attorney, at least call NAS and ask, what am I getting into? Do I need an attorney? And he'll be honest with you and tell you what you need to do.
That's right.
All right, so we're going to move over to the criminal part now.
Yeah.
And I don't mean criminal like you're a bank robber or something like that. I mean...
You could be.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. If you're a bank robber, call me.
Call me if you are.
But what happens a lot is that somebody who's a law-abiding citizen goes to their company Christmas party. They don't drink much, but they have a couple drinks there, and they get in the car and drive home. And they sail through a stop sign and hit somebody, and somebody's hurt. The police get involved, and their job is to get evidence against you.
Right.
And those people need somebody on their side to help them maneuver through that.
Well, Mike, that's like a really good scenario, and we were talking about it a little bit off air because of what had happened in the Tower District just recently. The reality is that officers, they're doing the best they can to do their job. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes when people talk to cops, they don't really realize that literally when they say everything you say can be used against you, that's the absolute truth. It all ends up in a police report. If you're the party, in other words, if you're the defendant, that means it's admissible against you as an admission. It's not a hearsay exception. So what I always recommend is, first and foremost, if you're drinking, Ubering is the best thing you can do these days. Avoid ever needing a criminal defense attorney. That's the best advice I can give you. But if you are in a situation where cops are investigating you and you think that maybe you are being investigated for a crime, your best bet is to be quiet and say, I would like to speak to my attorney.
Right.
They have a duty, once you say, I'd like to speak to an attorney, to stop investigating and talking to you, especially if you're in custody.
Don't they sometimes say, oh, what do you need to hide if you're not guilty, like you say, it doesn't hurt to talk to us? Do they do that?
Oh, the officers, just like anybody else, are trying to do their best job, and so they're going to do whatever they can to kind of get you to talk. But if you say you want your attorney, once you've said that and you're in custodial interrogation, first of all, anything that you say after that is potentially something that I could beat in a motion to suppress. Okay. But more importantly, you just don't say anything after that. You say, I want an attorney. They can egg you on as much as you want, but just hold strong.
Once you've said that, though, and just stop talking. That's the main thing.
Stop talking.
And I believe 90% of the people I talk to who get in some trouble have to go through that. They're just regular people who made a stupid mistake once in their life.
Right.
It's not like they're not robbing bank after bank after bank and get caught. But those people could still call NOS. But, you're not an attorney. You don't know what you're doing. Call a professional.
A lot of people, Mike, and this is sort of more of like a philosophical approach, but a lot of people think about criminal cases. They think about criminal defense as, you're helping that bank robber. And I said sort of in jest, call me. The reality is exactly what you said. Most people are trying to live their best life. Mm-hmm. They're good people, but because they're people, they make mistakes.
They do stupid things.
And it behooves you, if you do that, to protect yourself.
Right.
And the best way to do that from a legal perspective is to not be your own worst enemy. Mm-hmm. Being your own worst enemy in the context of a criminal investigation is running your mouth. Mm-hmm. You may say something that you think is innocuous and is maybe even helpful to you. You're just trying to explain, oh, well, the officers will understand. Yeah. If I say that, I did this because of this, they'll be empathetic with you. And as a person, they might be empathetic with you. But it's going to end up in the police report. It's going to end up in front of a jury. And it could be the thing that gets you convicted. Right. So I say ask for an attorney and don't say anything else.
Yeah. Now, you said I could ask you a hypothetical.
Sure.
And I was going to say just for fun, but it's kind of a serious thing. There was a Clovis High School administrator killed recently, or Clovis Unified. A kid was driving and had a few drinks and hit and killed the guy. Then he took off. There was a thing in the Tower District the other night where there was a scuffle. Somebody pushed someone in the street. They were hit by a car, and that car driver took off. Maybe they knew they hit somebody. Maybe they didn't. But in both cases, I think they'd been drinking. And I guess the question is that if you do that and you'd been drinking, you hurt someone, is it better to go and sober up and then turn yourself in, or is it better to turn yourself in at the time? Well, third thing, or is it better to call you?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the right thing to do would be to call an attorney to explain to them the situation, and that attorney can guide them through the process. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to have to turn yourself into law enforcement. But you want an attorney there that's going to be able to guide you through that investigation, to just protect your rights. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, I believe you have to take responsibility. Criminal defense is not just about getting off after you've done something wrong. It's about making the best situation out of a terrible one. So I would say call an attorney and say, hey, how can we go about
what should I do?
What should I do?
Tell me how to do it, because most of them have never done it before. By the way, attorneys who get in those situations, they're attorneys. They know what they're doing. Who's the first person they call?
Yeah.
Another attorney.
Exactly.
Yeah, they don't try to figure it out themselves. They try to get somebody to detach from the situation to take a look at it.
Right.
Well, let's say somebody's watching and says, wow, I want to call that guy. Where do they start? Do they go to their website or your phone, or where should they start?
Website is under construction. They're welcome to give me a call at that phone number, and just if I don't answer and if it's in the middle of day, work hours, it's usually because I am a litigator, so I'm in court often.
Yeah.
Leave a message. I always call back within 24 hours. Usually it's much sooner. So if it's an emergency, and be happy to give you 10 to 15 minutes of my time to kind of discuss what's going on, and from there we can see about having you come into the office. And
Right. But the first call is free.
yeah,
So just make the call, protect yourself a little, and you'll tell them, oh, you're okay, or you better come talk to me, or you better do this or that. First call is free just to find out.
that's right.
Yeah. Give out the phone number.
All right, so well, there's two numbers. The best number to call at first is 559-441-0114. With that number, you'll be able to reach my staff, and they'll be able to get a hold of me and forward me any messages. If it is an emergency situation, you can call the 559-270-6782 number.
All right. Get a hold of your cell phone.
That's right.
And say it's an emergency. But the staff can handle emergencies too.
They can, yeah.
Sometimes it's better because if you're in court, you may not hear from the staff. So call the staff. Call the number. By the way, if you're watching and you didn't get those numbers down, call me at Central Valley Talk. I'll give you his direct number. Is that all right?
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
If you're in trouble, just protect yourself. You're not trying to get out of something or game the system or something, but you need somebody on your team to look out for you.
That's right.
And also the family law issues. You're going to get divorced or you have a custody issue. Call someone who knows what they're doing. Anything else you want our viewers to know?
No, I really appreciate it. I wish you all the best. Good holiday, a blessed holiday. And live your best lives out there, folks.
Very good.
All right.
I'm glad you were here.
Mike,
we'll be
thank you.
back with more Central Valley Talk right after this message.
Appreciate you.
CentralValleyTalk.com